Hi, how's it going? This is Brennan Moriarty from California. I'd like to request that President Biden and Western world leaders grant permission to Hollywood Incognito um, to contact me directly, to give me a lifetime job to help preserve the safety and security of our nation and the entire Western world and the entire world itself. Okay, I want to do that. I don't want to have a conversation. It feels like I'm playing dictator here, and I am not. I'm a scientist, maybe a poet, uh, essentially uneducated. And Bobby Fischer, perfect example of someone, whether his mother and him are communist or not, doesn't really matter. That is a pathological conversation that the media doesn't automatically give him a job, okay? Say nothing of a scholarship, intern to solve problems that actually matter, that the United States government intelligence agency can be sure mattered. And political excuses for preying on someone who is a super scientist, okay? And this goes back a long ways as far as keeping Americans isolated from technological incorporation, which doesn't necessarily have to be in America, because it could be, oh, let's go to Hollywood and make pornography because, oh, the technology exists. It's not necessarily a good thing. I prefer French cinema myself, and classical music. I like rock and roll, but I also want to protect people for sure. Okay, absolutely. And I wish that the president of America and world leaders and influential people will give permission for me to be in this lifetime position. I'll sign every contract there is. I just want people who sincerely care to do that so that I can be your friend and that I can be the reliability of the world. Again, the communist, fascist conversation is purely pathological. That's dictating delusions, okay? It's quite complex. Imagine technology, any technology, without someone who is actually dictating. I don't think it actually exists. Okay, someone had an old world connection, had new world resources, had a new world big sister, had an old world little sister. Everyone else, they're all fascists. Okay, that's the delusion, rather than the balance of developing technology without having some maniacal excuse, a game indeed. That's, I think, what Bobby Fischer was doing. Whether he was a communist is not the point. He was intelligent. That's what Ellis Island was looking for people who were smart. It's like, oh, yes, George Washington, great. Unfortunately, it wasn't going the other way around because people just have a pathological fear of the intelligent American who doesn't have an old world connection, okay, or isn't on the very fringe of, where the virtual Ellis Island, Chesapeake, modern reality, the auction block, that Martin Luther King is seen as a vote getter and a Vietnam excuse, ultimately. Because my family and everyone else's isn't in the right situation. That's the reality. Okay, I want to help Hollywood get it right. And the childhood that you had, the experience that you had at home in your actual community, and what I had and what George Washington had, they're vastly different. And that's the only excuse for every horrible thing there is. Okay, and coming up with all the metaphors of capitalism, communism, socialism, fascism, etc. This is impossible. Okay, it's tedious. It's pathological. I like to write poetry and stuff like that, but I would much rather have an education that says, oh yeah, that is actually right. And if it's not right, I'll rewrite it. Okay.